So then the Max5 championship for Mazda MX5. It's Will Chappell versus Paul Roderson off the front row. The race is away. Then we've got Mark 3 and Mark 1 cars out. There's a great start from the outside the front row. That means Paul Roderson takes the lead into paddock, and side by side behind Halliwell and Shipley. As they head now up the hill for the first time, we can ride on board with Alan Robertson. So he heads right behind the car in front. Somebody snatched a brake round the outside, hugely late on the brakes. One of the Mark 1 machines. That was Robert Chilcott, it must have been. Hell, heading now down towards 30s for the leader, side by side further back, and that is the quick starting Druids hairpin driver, Robert Charlotte, losing out to Bethel Ahmed. So through Clark Curve then to complete the first lap of the race. It's Roderson versus Chappell for the lead. The top two slight breaks to the rest of the pack, so they will get onto the brakes for paddock. 20-minute race, like the majority of races are here today. And side by side as Robinson just can't quite get past Charlotte. Charlotte just defended it like many ones into the gravel, and that changes positions. So, and look at the replay here, big sideways moment out of Druids for somebody, and that was the moment where Charlotte run off the road. So here the leaders into Graham Hill Bend then, still the one machine, or Roderson leads the way, and we're heading to 30s then, and it's still Chappell looking for a way through. Now it goes round the outside into clearways, but he can't quite get that one done. They head through the corner, and then nose to tail. Can Will Chappell find a way through? We have about 18 minutes of this race to go. A long, long way in this race to go. So Will Chappell not making any dodgy moves yet, because he knows he's got plenty of time. And here we go then, up on the side with Druids. There's not too much room, but there's enough room to go through, and Roderson realised that and sort of got out the way for the race leader at the last moment. So Will Chappell leads the way then, and they head on to the Cooper Straight, and he's not able to do anything about Chappell at the moment. Chappell won the race yesterday, that's why he was on pole today. So is he able to get away from Roderson? It's what we're asking at the moment. Well, he makes his way onto the Brabham Straight. Roderson following him in the slipstream. Roderson not losing too much as of yet. These two Mark 3 machines then head through paddock, down the hill, before climbing back up it again towards Druids, and they head back down the hill, and Chappell under quite a bit of pressure now. Roderson gets a good run out of Graham Hill Bend, so now he makes a move up on the inside, but no. Chappell managed to hold it round the outside there. So Chappell leads. Roderson in second. There's something I should mention here. It's the car in third position. Jonathan Halliwell is not far behind the front two at all. The top three all together as they cross the line for the fourth time. So they get onto the brakes for paddock, and they turn through the right-hander, drop down the hill before climbing back up it again. And now, Roderson gets a bit sideways perhaps on the exit there. And now Halliwell's really bringing this into a three-way scrap then, isn't he? So, certainly should have been interesting completions of this race. Yesterday, Will Chappell managed to pull out a 10-second victory over Roderson. Chappell made an even worse start yesterday and dropped down to third after lap 1. No, sorry, he didn't. He made a better start today. He led from the beginning, but it was Robertson that made the bad start yesterday because he dropped down to third before clawing his way up into second after about 10 laps. But by then, Chappelle had made a 3-second gap, and then he just pulled it out as the race went on. So it was Chappelle that won to Robertson and Halliwell, and it was Jeremy Shipley and Bafel Ahmed that finished out the top 5 yesterday. But today, certainly the top 3 all running together. Well, this time it appears just starting to drop away, Jonathan Halliwell, but I'm sure he'll be back on him as soon as possible. Meanwhile, behind, I noticed that Jeremy Shipley and Bafel Ahmed are running together. But here are our top 3 then. Not nose to tail racing at the moment, but maybe Paul Robertson just holding up. They're just holding the pace with the lead at the moment. As you can see, the battle for 4th there is certainly odd, as Ahmed was trying to find a way past Shipley into clearways. Couldn't get it done then, as now they power their way onto the Brabham Straight then. They will see 14 minutes on the clock. We have here Brands Hatch clock that tells you if it's a lap race, how many laps to go, and if it's a minutes race, the closest minute to go. Yeah, behind, side by side, as a big starter right behind as well. We deal with this one first, and he spins off into the gravel. Does here the other side, and he gets back out eventually. He didn't go right round, luckily enough, so managed to control it back onto the circuit. So round clearways, we go back to the leaders. But what I was going to say is that it was side by side into paddock as Robinson was coming round Robert Chalot in the Mark 1 machine. The Mark 1 machine just about being late enough on the brakes to stay in 6th position. Right, battle for 4th. I did say it was close, didn't I? Here they are. Jeremy Shipley in the 45 ahead of Bafel Ahmed in the 17. They head through paddock. Ahmed gets all sideways in turning into the corner, and that's lost him all the time. They were really close, but no, not anymore. Robertson still staying on the back of Chappelle. Remember I said it was 10 seconds yesterday by the end of the race. Well, we're a third of the way through, and at the moment it's no more than a second. Into paddock, nose to tail motoring all the way through the back. Well, here we have Chris Bexon in the Mark 1, just holding off Jeremy Hibbert at the moment, who's in the Mark 3. Leaders then back to complete another lap. You can see that starting to fall away in 3rd is Jonathan Halliwell. Yes, Jonathan Halliwell. And we see this battle for 6 continues. It has. We've got Robert Chalot in that Mark 1. Then Alan Robertson much quicker than Mark 3 down the straights. And he's right onto the tail of the Mark 1. Then, but much later on the brakes. There is the 84 machine of Robert Chalot. They head through the corner, down the hill, back up it again. We can ride on board then with Alan Robertson. See what it's like in a Mazda MX5 around the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. We'll deal with Druids. Here we go. Smoothly back on the power, make sure we don't get too sideways like a couple of cars did on lap 1. Through Graham Hill Bend. Gonna run over the curb, not quite, and the car picks up speed. Get to see a bit of telemetry on our screens. And then through into clearways. Minimum speed around here, 50 miles per hour. For our on-the-board camera car, Alan Robinson. We put the power now right behind in the 6th, then we pull out to the outside for paddock, but then again, Chalot unbelievably low on the brakes. And Chilcott stays in 6th position. We can ride back on board, back to the inside we attempt. We can't do that. The slowest corner on the circuit, 41 miles per hour through Druids. Back on the power down towards Graham Hill then. 57 miles per hour through the minimum speed. Now 30s, one of the quickest corners on the circuit, although being relatively tight at 80 miles per hour through there. And through McLaren, it's just sort of getting ready to slow down for clearways at the same time. We said 50 miles per hour last time, we get 50 miles per hour this time. Very consistent is our onboard camera car. Alan Robinson chasing after Robert Chilcott into paddock then. It's a great corner to gauge the speed on, 69 miles per hour. You can see how tight paddock is as we hit the bottom there. Now, a good attempt here up at the inside of Chilcott, but we can't get it done, so we head through the right-hander hairpin. Chilcott stays at the front there. Back down the hill. Bit sideways on the exit of Graham Hill. Down towards Surtees. Great just to watch the cars for a moment on board there. And now again, good run out of Clark Curve, more powerful Mark 3. Then we'll have a look into paddock. Here we don't go. Backing out of it was our onboard camera car, Alan Robinson. About 9 minutes to go in this race now. We passed the halfway distance. And Chilcott just trying to get away now. So here's the battle between Chris Bexon and Jeremy Hibbert for 9th position. They head up into Druid's hairpin. Big sideways moment then for the Mark 1 car of Bexon. Now Hibbert having a good go down the hill, but staying there is Bexon. He stays in front of Hibbert. So Chris Bexon, and like I say, the Mark 1 machine heads through Surtees onto McLaren and breaking down the clearways. Look at, oh, he gets a bit very sideways again. This time through clearways, and that is allowing Hibbert to come through and up a position. He will go up into that ninth position, I think he gets there. It's 9th position for Hibbert, and we can ride aboard Chris Bexon then. I can tell you the person who won the gravel earlier, Ian Loversage, had retired from the race. Obviously, he's running through the gravel. He didn't want to risk it, and we run all over the curve on board with Chris Bexon. Running in 10th position, 12 cars still on circuit for the Max5 Racing Series. Hard for this championship to compete with the main Mazda MX5 championship run by Jonathan Blake, which gets about, between their two championships, about 120 entrants. So it's tough for Max5 to get the big winner card. Nobody's committed. Nobody is committed to the Max5 series. We're into paddock. Still on board with Bexon. Onto the brakes. Something like just over 7 minutes to go. On board, let's see what happened at the clearways. Look how much sideways action we had through there. Bexon superbly kept it all together. Quite incredible, really. Yeah, he managed to hold it, but he lost the position. Leaders into traffic then, round the outside the back marker goes Chappelle, and he has to keep going round.
He couldn't really get out of the way, unfortunately. Will Chappelle is through safely. Paul Robinson is now carving his way through.
He had to keep going round him, but he's got it done now though. With about 6 minutes to go on the clock. With it down into paddock, so Chappelle leading then, still from Paul Robinson. And they head up the hill then, towards Druid's hairpin. 3 leaders almost all together now, because Jonathan Halliwell coming back at the top 2. And look, this is the closest all 3 of them have been since lap 1. This is impressive stuff after yesterday, the race being rather spread out. We're seeing Chappelle leading the way at the moment, but only just from Paul Roderson. Then Jonathan Halliwell running in the 3rd position. So they head through the corner now to complete another lap. And I would suggest that we will only fit about 5 more laps in now. Fastest lap of the race so far, set by Will Chappell on lap 9, a 47.141. That's about 76 miles per hour average speed. Impressive stuff from these little Mazdas. Chappell perhaps a little slow up the hill as they head through Druid. And look, wide goes Chappell and he's slowing dramatically. I thought the car was slightly slow going up the hill. What was he subbing from? He's pulled off then to the edge of the circuit. That's Will Chappell's hopes of a double win this weekend all over. Leaders up into clearaways then with 4 minutes to go. It is our new race leader. He led early on. Paul Roderson, that is, who is our leader. Jonathan Halliwell runs in 2nd position as they come across the line to complete the 17th lap of the race. And it is the 1 car that leads from the 2 car. And there's only 4 tenths of a second between the 2 leaders. What can our 2nd place car, Jonathan Halliwell, do? He's right there now. He's having a good run down the hill, down towards Graham Hill Bird. Can't make a move as of yet, but he's going to have a good go for the rest of this race. Up into 30s they go then, and it is still Roderson that leads from the 2nd place car of Halliwell. And there's only about a car length between the 2 of them. It certainly is a battle between the 2 of them, because Jeremy Shipley, that runs in a 3rd, is a good 10 seconds behind. So across the line, I come absolutely nose to tail, and the 2 cars still can't find a way through. Jonathan Halliwell still can't find a way past the leader that runs a little bit wide of the exit of the corner. Down the hill they come then. And it's still Roderson that leads the way. We would suggest 2 to go after this. Yes, we're pretty convinced up here that there will be 2 to go when this lap finishes. So what can the race leader do? Race leader, of course, being Paul Roderson into paddock. Through the right hand up. And they drop the hill, they climb all the way back up it and some more for the braking point at Druid. I don't think they'll catch up that back marker before the end, so that will leave the 2 leaders to scrap it out. Can Halliwell get ahead of Roderson? These 2 certainly having a better race than yesterday. We can put into terms of, compared to fast lap from Chappell, both of them only lapping a tenth slower today, where yesterday they were about the same, in fact, actually. So it was just much more consistent lap times throughout the race from Halliwell. And for the race leader, Paul Roderson. So through the right-hander they go. Last time, can we have a change, I wonder? At the moment, the answer to that could be either yes, or it could either be no, because they are so tight now. This is definitely the closest these 2 have been for the whole race since the cars were lining up in the collection area a good half an hour ago now. They head now down towards 30's bend. It's going to have to be something impressive now from Halliwell, because he's starting to drop back from the race leader Roderson. They go through the right hand.
Start-finish line as the leaders
Go through clearaways and put the power on through Clark Kerr. There be seeing the checkered flag come then. Here we go. The checkered flag drops on the race winner. It is Paul Rodderson that takes the victory here today. He beats Jonathan Halliwell, and further back, third position will go to Jeremy Shipley. And he's crossed the line, and fourth position went to Bafo Ahmed. There is your official classification. Ahmed a long way behind Shipley in the end, and he was almost caught up by Robert Charlotte, who was the first of the Mark 1 cars.